Hey everybody, Tim and Julie here for the penultimate episode of Batman Beyond, Season 3, Part 2, Episode 6, 7, 8, and 9. So, Episode 6, Speak No Evil, all about the talking gorilla fingers, which is great. It's kind of a reference to sign language, we saw a smart gorilla in the animated series, the original. I don't think it talked, though. But that was the gorilla from Haley's Circus that Robin knew as from his childhood. So, what did you think of this episode?
It was a good one. He was taken when he was little,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's so sad.
yeah, and his mom was taken,
Mm-hmm.
but he never could find out where his mom actually was.
Right.
And it turned out it was the guy, the owner of the animal refuge place that had kidnapped him, and it was sad, but it was a good
one. Episode 7 and 8, The Call, two-parter. The first two-parter since the first episode of the series. Like the original, like Batman the Animated Series, I felt like it had a two-parter. Like every couple of episodes, there was a two-parter.
Like it.
And Batman Beyond's not. Like it's all just single. Like the first episode, the pilot was a two-parter, and here we are 2 seasons later, finally a two-parter. The introduction of the Justice League. So we see Micron, who's basically the Atom. A short cameo of Ink, who miraculously survived the last episode we saw her with her daughter. We see Barda, who's a famous character. We see Warhawk, who, after Batman Beyond ended, they actually did a Justice League cartoon, which takes place before Batman Beyond, because it's when Bruce Wayne's still younger. And we actually learn all about Warhawk's parents in that. That's kind of interesting. Aqua Girl, who I think it's funny because she's voiced by Jodie Benson, who is the voice actress that plays the Little Mermaid. So she goes from being a mermaid to Aqua Girl. And then a new Green Lantern in this as well. And then, of course, Superman. So for this, lots of characters, it has to be a two-parter because there's so much in this. Basically, the whole thing boils down to there's a traitor and who done it.
Right.
So what did you think of seeing all these characters? Yeah, what'd you think? This is a big one. This is a big two-parter.
It was okay. Because Superman came to Terry and Bruce and said that he wanted Terry to join the Justice League. It was time for him to join. And Bruce said it was up to him if he wanted to. And so Terry went and helped, and joined, and and he was the new kid on the block, and he trying to investigate, seeing who he thought was the traitor, and came down to there was an explosion or something.
For Warhawk, yeah.
Yeah, and he was able to dial the picture in and saw that it was Superman.
Dun dun dun.
But then there was a lot of Superman. So they were basically robots.
Oh yeah, they're at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. It was okay.
So for this one, like, are you glad you watched the Superman crossover episodes first?
Yeah, because I didn't, I only grew up watching Superman, and maybe Aquaman, but all these other ones, they were pretty new to me, pretty much.
And then it's kind of funny. Have you ever had a show where, like, it doesn't matter when you walk in the room, you're like, oh, the show's on the air, and you watch, it's always the same episode. And you're like, is this the only episode they ever made? So for me, Superman's that way. The only real episode of Superman that I've seen for the animated series is the Collector episode, which in this one you see flashbacks of when Superman gets kidnapped by the Collector, and then he like breaks out of the zoo, and then he gives everybody a home. That's actually an episode from the Superman TV show. And then like this whole two-parter is kind of based off of that. And then Starro, which is the starfish that's like on Superman, that's mind controlling everybody.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of his origin story, which in itself is kind of a joke, because if you go back to like the 60s or the 70s, like the very first issue of Justice League ever written, Starro is the first villain that they ever fought together. So a lot of little shout outs, little references in this one. But so as with all things like superhero, like they made this show, the Batman Beyond show, and of course they ended up making a Batman Beyond comic book that's still going. So lots of stuff going on. I've read some of them, not all of them, but lots going on there. And it's called Justice League Beyond, but they ended up writing a Justice League comic book just based off of this episode. So this episode's like spawned a lot of little spin-offs, I guess. Yeah. Okay. And then the last episode for today, what do we got? Season 3, episode 9, Betrayal. It's the return of Big Time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's how much of an impression it made on Julie.
Yeah.
She's like, what?
His friend that.
From Juvenile Hall.
Yeah.
Has already returned. We just saw him like 2, 3, like 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So, what'd you think of the return? What was it, Tommy? Tommy Big Time?
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like Terry was still wanting to help him.
Yeah.
But he didn't really. He didn't want his help. He thought he would. He liked the way he looked. You know. So.
He's almost like a Two-Face type character.
Yeah, that's at first who I thought maybe it was, but then, yeah, he's gonna keep his way he looks. You know, okay, more power to you.
Nice. Yeah. Any other anything? No? Okay. Any closing thoughts for these 4 episodes? 3 episodes, I guess, since it's a 2-parter.
The first one was my favorite.
The gorilla?
The gorilla.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
No? Alright, we're almost done. So, for those who have seen this group, what did you guys think of the Fingers, the gorilla, the 2-parter of the Justice League, and then the return of Tommy Big Time? Go ahead, let us know so we guys can talk about it. And then we will see you guys next time for the finale, the last 4 episodes.